Coming up next, we got Bridget, who once upon a time, I told her, come with me if you want to live. And now she works with Pivotal on my team. It's a lot of fun. She also organizes DevOps days all around the world. And among other things, she's awesome. Bridget.
Woo! Thank you, Andrew. All right. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my favorite Euro game and also some mental models of, IT innovation. Who here has played the game Settlers of Catan? All right, awesome. Lots of people here. So this game came out of Germany. It began in 1995 is when it first came out. And this was a game that made, kind of put German-style board games on the map in outside of Europe. The base game, like we like to call it Baby Catan, the very original one, has a couple of victory modes that are probable. Longest road definitely is going to help. If you want to become a sheep baron, you can go with largest army if you're going to build a lot of development cards. But if you move to cities and knights, it's a more complex version of Settlers of Catan. There's a lot more paths to victory. It starts getting a lot more complex and a lot more ways to mess with your opponents as well. Because like every game, like instead of evolving to read email, every game has to evolve melee combat, right? So if you look at Cringely's book, Accidental Empires from 1992, he talks about the concept of the commandos and the infantry and the police. And if you look at Simon Wardley, and I learned about this through Simon Wardley's work, and he talks about it in the context of pioneers, settlers, and town planners. The idea is that the pioneers are your first movers. They get there right away. They cause a lot of chaos, perhaps, but taking a lot of risks right at the beginning, like if you're playing Catan, building on a port right away, it's a risk, but it might pay off. All right, you move on to the settler types, and they're a little bit more methodical, a little more Machiavellian. They're scaling from that first great idea into something that could actually be a product. Build on cloth, build a monument. Although I would go for aqueduct on paper, not just a Jethro Tull song. Then you get to town planners. At that point, your product is a commodity. You've got your resource cards, but also your commodity cards that you have in Cities and Knights. And at this point, you can just move full speed ahead, except there's a different cadence in this version of the game because there's disruptors in the form of your pirates. I like to think of them as like Vikings. 3 out of 6 sides on that D6 are pirates. They are coming for you, which is why bimodal IT is bullshit, all right? You can't put people into sad mode and awesome mode. You don't get innovation throughout your organization by telling some people they can't do anything interesting or fun. Wardley also likes to focus on maps. So this is the idea of mapping what the pioneering parts of your organization should be, and then the parts that are more towards a product, and then the parts that are completely a basic commodity that you shouldn't be sinking your innovation tokens into. For example, you probably look at this map and you want to know where Mount Doom is, but you're probably not going to set up your very own hydroelectric power generation along, the river. And if you're looking at what's going to be valuable inside your organization, where you're going to get differentiating business value, you're probably going to focus on the places that are going to set you aside from the other businesses, as opposed to social, all trying to be like each other. So this is from a German humor magazine from 1892. The joke being, what two animals are most like each other? A rabbit and a duck. Look at that for a minute. It's a question of perception, what you're focusing on. By the way, since Schaefer brought up politics earlier, it is election season, which means we are rewatching The West Wing, and we just got to the big block of cheese episode where, CJ is very confused as to why they're, redoing all the maps. I say cartographers to social justice. That's fantastic. But this idea of focusing on, and this quote is, if you think about it, if a map is going to be perfect, it's not going to be usable because it's 1-to-1 scale. So you have to your models have to be approximate to some extent. But keep in mind that the map is not the territory it represents. We, in software, we think about these levels of abstraction all the time, but they represent our reality. They are not our reality. It's kind of like the Belgian surrealist René Magritte said about this not being a pipe. Like, you can't take this painting and put tobacco in it and smoke it. Just like you can't actually rule a hex-based landscape, though I recommend it because, like, Settlers of Catan's super fun. Using these different kinds of ways of thinking about it, mental maps, are a good way to both have fun in, the game setting, but also focus on how we play this game of tech. So, thanks.